Yes, sir, we are live now.
Yeah.
Good evening. Yeah, good evening, participants. Welcome to the live session for the course Managing Services. Our instructor, Professor Jayanta Chatterjee, sir, is here with us to resolve all your doubts. So one student has already joined. Mr. Shivam, do you have any doubts? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
No, sir. Of course, I don't have any doubts.
Okay,
All right.
actually, I have received already on the forum quite a few significant and interesting questions. So maybe I will start with those because there are quite a large number of questions. So in view of the time available, maybe I should straight away start with the questions.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Sir, sorry to disturb you. Sir, this is Samrat, sir, a learner in your course. Sir, if you can give also some time to ask questions also, we'll be so grateful to your good self, sir, if possible.
Okay. Actually, I was going to start the session with the questions that you have posed.
Okay. I'll be so grateful, sir. I'll be noting down with my notepad here.
And so if you have an add-on question, we will take it at the after I have gone through all the questions.
Perfect.
Then depending on the time. So I will start with the questions that you have posed, Samrat.
Yes, sir.
You have said that, can you please explain what parameters are used to determine the difference between high and low contact service? Is SST a high contact service? Is hair cutting in salon a medium participation service? Is heart surgery a people processing service, a high or low contact service? So you see, fundamentally, high contact versus low contact will be determined by the degree and intensity and duration of the physical contact between the customer and the service as a whole, as a system. For example, hair cutting in a salon is a high contact service, but from the customer's participation point of view, it is a medium level service because of customer's role being only an advisory role. Cutting is done by the salon. But in the hair cutting, the customer is intensely engaged and present in the service environment. So therefore, it becomes a high contact service. On the other hand, for example, heart surgery is a high contact service because even though there may be heart-lung machine or robots and many other advanced equipment in use, the customer, the patient, remains in intense contact with the service environment throughout the process. So the intensity, the degree, intensity, and duration of engagement between the customer and the service as a whole system will be quite deep in this particular situation. So it is a high contact. So you have raised this question that
yes,
what is the show stack continuum?
Yes.
And show stack continuum is that of the continuum between tangibility and intangibility. On one end of the continuum will be largely tangible systems, which are basically goods with primary attributes that distinguish them. For example, maybe a salt will be at one end of it. And then on the other end will be highly primarily intangible service, for example, consulting or education. And that will be the other end. But you see, this is a related but different concept, because this can be an intangible service can be both high contact, or it can be a low contact service, because being available for service is a basic deliverable, but may not
Excuse me,
indicate
sir.
the competency level.
Excuse me, sir.
Or yes,
Sir, this is B. Suraj. Good afternoon.
who is this?
Suraj, sir. Suraj. Good afternoon.
Yes. Are you saying something with relation to this particular question answer?
Sir, can tangible service, sir? Right?
Hello.
Can you give me the example of a tangible service and intangible service, sir, in our daily life?
The service is always intangible.
Okay.
In the Shostak continuum, we were talking about the spread between tangible and intangible. Tangibles are primarily goods. And for example, salt or a car. These are primarily goods that are high in feature. Hello, Murali, are you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Okay, now I was actually seeing some other. How many people are now participating? 6.
Total 6, sir, including us. So 4 participants are there, sir.
Okay. So as
One.
I said, I have received a large number of very interesting questions.
So,
I will first go through all those questions, and then I will go by the second round where people can ask supplementary questions or new questions can be posed. So, continuing from there, that as I said, that in the Shostak continuum, we are talking between the spread between tangible and intangible, but an intangible can service. All services are primarily intangible. It can be both high contact as well as, or it can be low contact. I have received a very detailed suggestion and question from Dr. Bihan. So thanks for your comments and suggestions. We have noted your idea about expanding this course to a 12 weeks structure. We will study this in detail, and the NPTEL board will look at it, and we will see the possibility in depth, and we will get back to you subsequently. I have then this question from Sandeep, that what qualities make a successful service entrepreneur different from a product entrepreneur? In globalization of service, which is harder to adapt, technology or cultural expectations? So let me take it part by part. So this question, that what makes a successful service entrepreneur different from a product entrepreneur, is a very interesting question. So as you know, that in service, the core offering will be intangible value, expertise, process, experience, solution. People and process driven are the key criteria of a service. And scalability is limited in service by availability of expertise, and it's a human-centric capacity. AI and others can help to scale, but primarily the scaling in case of service, that means expanding the business for a service entrepreneur, is a human-centric challenge. Whereas products, and I would not like to use here as a product entrepreneur, because product is a broader concept that embraces both goods as well as services. So I would say goods dominated entrepreneurship depends on managing the manufacturing, distribution, logistics, mainly operations management. So scalability here, or the growth for the entrepreneur, depends on resources and demand and balancing them. But increasingly, goods need services for competitive distinction. So differences between goods businesses and service businesses are kind of blurring. In fact, some researchers say, and there is a whole concept called service dominant logic. It says all businesses today, and increasingly so in future, will be dominated by service. So therefore, to be a successful goods entrepreneur, you have to basically look at many aspects of service entrepreneurship as well. So these issues like offering of values and expertise, process, experience, these become now increasingly important for product businesses also. So in short, answer to your good question is that there are differences between the requirements for goods entrepreneur as opposed to service entrepreneur, but increasingly the requirements of service entrepreneurship now dominate the whole scenario. Ayushi, again, you have posed a good question, and your question set, no, I think I didn't take up one part of Sandeep's question, and that was, is globalization of service, which is harder to adapt, technology or cultural? You see, technology, etc., are kind of deterministic sets. A lot of those can be, you can pre-plan and you can prepare for adaptation with respect to technology. But cultural expectations are very human dominated. So those are actually more difficult to predict or shape or predetermine. And therefore, a lot of adaptation will have to be done, what we see on the fly. That means online, on almost in real-time response. So cultural adaptations are usually tougher. Ayushi, you have questioned that how do companies practically make customers true co-creators rather than passive participants? So again, it's a good question. How to make customers co-creators rather than passive participants? So you see, in a doctor-patient or a teacher-student interaction scenario, these are all customer co-creation scenario. So whether the customer will be a co-creator here in this kind of scenario, like doctor-patient or teacher-student, depends on the level of engagement and the overall approach towards excellence. That means deeper, more engaged, more involved, interesting will be the interaction. More possibilities will be there that there will be value co-creation. So value delivering class in an educational scenario will be more co-creative than passive. So no one bullet solution for this, but the overall holistic approach for deeper engagement, involvement, and striving for excellence. These will ensure that the customer will be co-creator rather than a passive rather than a passive participant. I have one question from Adit, which is also quite interesting. And that says, what distinguishes consumer behavior in service marketing as opposed to perhaps no, I think your question rightly is, how can we study consumer behavior in services when emotions and experiences are so subjective? So what distinguishes consumer behavior in services marketing will be a deeper and wider importance of trust and relationship rather than features or attributes. So, for example, here, instead of the attribute or feature-driven thinking, there will be a lot of more importance of trust and relationship. Therefore, word of mouth, peer reviews will become far more important. For example, service recovery will heavily influence loyalty. In goods marketing, or the focus on behavior will be on features, whereas in services it will be on the people, process, and perceptions. So in goods, consumer behavior is shaped by also shaped by attribute and ownership. But in services, consumer behavior is shaped by experience, trust, and memory. Memory is also very important. Experience is subjective, but can be shaped and guided by focus on trust and the co-creation and memories. If you compare the process of buying a car versus booking a family holiday abroad, and compare the two, then you will be able to get this difference quite well. I am seeing, for example, some new questions are popping up. Murli, I am requesting you that you please put them together, and then after I finish this round of previously received questions, then I will take it up.
Yes,
And Samrat, I have noted that you one part of your questions was not taken up, and that was this journeyman.
Yes, no issue, sir. As per your convenience, sir. As per your convenience.
Yeah. I will look at it.
Sir.
So I was talking about Lohit's questions. What was Lohit's question? Lohit's question was, what is the biggest challenge in service recovery? Speed, empathy, or cost? Very good question. You see, all three are important. There will be some degree of difference depending on the context and the industry. For example, in airlines or healthcare service, speed often will be very critical. But perhaps in most situations, empathy is the hardest to get right consistently, because it depends on the frontline employee's mindset and training and systemic empowerment of them. So authentic empathy is a human variable and culture dependent, and therefore that is one that is not so predictable or not so deterministic, and so it depends. But ultimately, I would say that all three aspects that you have pointed out, that means speed, empathy, and cost, all three are needed and they need to be balanced. So a good one-liner will be: recover fast, genuinely care and show it, and make it fair. Recover fast, looking at the speed aspect, genuinely care and show it, looking at the empathy aspect, and make it fair, looking at the cost aspect from both sides. So the question that came from Divya, that how to balance core and supplementary services without increasing cost. You see, core services are must have. So because they are must have, that means in banking services, the core banking service is the core. That is must have. You must have all the necessary money deposit and money withdrawal related activities well mapped in the process. And they have to be reliable, consistent, and competitive. So similarly, in an airline service, the basic flight service, that's a must-have. Supplementary services are differentiators. They should actually enhance convenience, customization, and so on. Now, because they are differentiators in a competitive market, sometimes the core services are kind of given. That means all the players, if they are valid players, they will have the core services all worked out. And ultimately, therefore, who will win will depend on the differentiators. The question, therefore, is that that how do companies balance? Perhaps the most proven strategy is to segment customers by value and needs. Like premium customers who are prepared to pay the premium price will be provided the supplementary services like priority checking or private banking. And the core, that means the cost sensitive price customers, will be provided with the lean model. But these days, a hybrid model is also emerging. That means, for example, airlines like Indigo, they will offer you the lean service, promising that always on time basic flight service from point A to point B. But they will also provide you the options to buy part of the premium bundle, like a better seat, a wider seat, or, for example, priority check-in or priority meals. All these in modules you can buy and add. So it is actually a hybrid between the premium service and the lean service. This is another approach where actually service providers are trying to provide the both sides, the best of both worlds, at in a cost-effective manner. Cost here is what the customer can afford and pay with reasonable satisfaction. Okay, now I think I have missed one part of question of Lohit, and his question was, in the age of social media, how can one bad service experience impact a brand reputation long term? So you see, social media is is kind of it has two sides or multiple sides to it. So though because of the widespread reach and high speed reach of social media, one single bad service experience can impact reputation, but also the social media provides an opportunity to the service provider to implement recovery process and let it also be known. And we all know about the service recovery paradox, that sometimes when the customer has complained and the customer has expressed his or her dissatisfaction, and the service provider has with authenticity and competence responded and recovered to that situation. So even though there might be initially an adverse impact, but ultimately one can actually gain out of this situation. So that way, the social media can serve a dual function here. I think I will now get back to this question about the last part of Samrat's question, and that was that, can you please differentiate the different stages of firm competitiveness, especially difference between journeyman and available to service? So I think in our lectures as well as in the textbook, this is quite clearly explained, that available to service is a sort of a basic state where if you are not available for service, available to serve, then you are not exactly in business. So any valid player is will provide this particular level of competitiveness, which is available to serve. But journeyman is more like a competence towards or a step towards so being available for service is a basic deliverable, but may not indicate the competency level that is shown by journeyman. So journeyman is the primary focus is on is a above average level of competency, and it is maybe a one level below world class or high excellence. So it is a step forward, and many organizations, successful organizations, remain at the journeyman stage because the bar for world class continues to move, and therefore many organizations believe that they will to be competitive, they will always treat themselves to be at the journeyman stage. So I think that
actually want to just clarify one point from the perspective of the basic services. You mean the available for service actually firm competitiveness shows that they are having the basic services ready, right, sir? They have the basic competence. I'm telling, sir, like they have the basic competence and the basic services in place when it comes to actually from a competitive environment when I'm talking about. But when it comes to the journeyman, he's one step ahead than the basic services. He's also having some protocols in place, isn't it, sir?
Of course,
for example,
you are very right.
For the cycle of failure, sir, for the cycle of failure, they're having the systemic kind of response also in place, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the point is that, as I mentioned, that earlier we used to consider the journeyman stage as a kind of a transitory stage, because you assumed in the earlier concept that you could actually attain the world class or the super excellent stage. But nowadays we often feel that the world is moving continuously so fast that it is better to treat yourself at a perpetual journeyman stage. The available for service, as you rightly said, is a basic requirement. If you are in the game, that means you are available to serve. But the journeyman stage, if you treat yourself that you are always in the journeyman stage, that means you are always striving for the next level of excellence.
Understood.
So you don't assume that you have arrived, or rather you always assume that you are going forward. You are always running.
Sir,
And that is the requirement because of the rapidly moving global competitiveness.
Understood, sir. So the other fact of the matter is, like, when you're talking about this low vis-a-vis the high contact services, what I could understand is that the kind of participation that a particular consumer has with the service provider, that actually becomes the important parameter, right, sir? I mean,
yes.
With respect to this internet banking, where basically SST kind of thing, like self-service technologies, their high participation of the consumers are required with the service providers. So can I tell them that this wherever there is a high participation of consumers, where it is co-creating with the service provider, then in that case it is a high contact service, sir? Any SST service?
No, actually, no. Your approach is right, but you see what happens is, take for example an ATM.
Sir,
An ATM is a highly
SST.
engaged and a co-creation type of
Okay.
service.
Right, sir.
But only thing is, we cannot call it a high contact because of its transitory nature, because it is a very short duration service. Usually, most of the SSTs, whether it is the airport self check-in or it is the ATM booth, even though many of the intangible elements, like for example, these days ATM booths will have to ensure high degree of security, privacy, and a high degree of assurance for the customer that there will be no cyber fraud or other problems. So therefore you are creating lot of supplementary services in that basic, even though it is a self-service technology based primarily. So it has elements of high contact, but because the duration is very short, therefore it will not exactly qualify for a high contact service. Because you see, as I mentioned, there are four elements or three elements which are to be looked at for a high contact service. One is the degree of engagement. The second is the intensity of engagement. And the third is the duration of engagement. So, in case of this ATM, which is a good example, or an airport self-service check-in kiosk, the degree and intensity both may be high, but the duration is short. Therefore, it cannot be exactly called a high contact service. It is a transient high contact service, or a short-term high contact service.
Sir, in that case, like in the example lectures that you have given, you have said that the nursing is a high contact service. Correct, sir? Like for nursing is a high contact service, sir, you have told.
Yes.
Similarly, in today's deliberation, you also told that heart surgery is a high contact service.
Yes.
Then in that case, sir, do you say that even though for example, if you go to a spa or a salon for hair cutting, in that case, you are classifying it as medium contact service. But then, sir, don't you think that in a saloon also, in a haircutting
No.
business,
In case of salon, I did not say it is a. I said that it is a high contact service.
sir?
But from the customer participation point of view, it
Hmm.
is a medium level service.
Okay.
You see, for example, there are in the high contact service, there will be a difference between the hair cutting and the heart surgery. Because in the hair cutting, it is the customer participation is only of an advisory nature. And the main work is done by the salon stylist. But in the heart surgery, the participation of the patient is 100%, because it cannot be like in a hair cutting situation, while the guy is cutting or the lady is cutting your hair, you may be engaged in listening to music. In a heart surgery, it has to be 100% engagement.
Right.
You cannot be doing something
I
else.
understand,
while
but
your heart
then
is
all
being
this
affected.
classification, sir, you are talking about, these are all people, because in the first chart itself, when you are talking about, these are all people processing services, right? Because these
Of
are
course,
acting,
of course.
these are all perfect. So I've got the answer to all my questions. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, okay. Okay, are there any new questions?
Yes, Mr. Basavaraja has posted 2 queries on the Zoom chat, sir. I'll read out the questions. The first question is, how do you structure training for customer service staff? That is the first question, sir. And second question is,
Can you show me the question?
sure, sir. Just a second, sir. It is in the chat itself, sir. Are you able to access the chat, sir?
No. Yeah. I'm able to see the chat.
Oh, nice, sir.
Uh,
Basavaraja, sir, from Mr. Basavaraja. How do you structure training for customer service staff? That is the first question, sir, by him.
No, slowly repeat. How
do you structure training for customer service staff?
how do you structure?
Yes, sir. How do you structure training for customer service staff? That's the question, sir. Yes.
Well, you see, the customer support staff, they need to have their qualities will be derived from our concept of service quality. You remember the service quality concept which comes from Sarv Qual. So there we have these 5 elements, and that is TEARR. That is tangible, empathy, assurance, response, and reliability. And therefore, to structure the training of the customer support staff, you will have to see that how their response and their engagement with the customer can have these elements of TEARR. That means how they can make their interactions tangible. And tangible means all interactions are primarily intangible, but they should have tangible cues or tangible signals. So, for example, if you are a nurse and you are properly dressed, that means you are giving tangible signals towards a surrogate competence. That means your smartness or your the way you are turned out will be an element of trust creation. And empathy, this is the most important in the training of customer service staff, and this is the most difficult. And empathy, as you know, is different from sympathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in the shoes of the other person. So for a customer service staff, it should be very important to be able to think in terms of the customer's perspective. And this is something that cannot be very easily taught, but this can definitely be practiced, and this can definitely be acquired. So a lot of this will depend on self-training by the customer service staff. And then, of course, they have to be reliable in their response. So reliability as well as responsiveness, timely action. All these elements should be part of the training structure of the customer service staff.
Thank you,
And
sir, for
then
addressing that query. Yeah. So Mr. Basavaraja has posted one more query, sir. The question is, how do you stay up to date with industry trends, standards, and best practices? How do you stay up to date with
well,
the
on this, there is no, there cannot be a single bullet answer to this. This is actually what we have in the textbook, and also in our lecture, we have discussed that, for example, in the cycle of success, we have to take a total systemic approach to remain up to date with respect to the question that you have posed. So there is no one single answer to this.
Thank you, sir. We received one more query from Mr. Janaki Ramadas. He posted on the YouTube chat. Please explain servcall one more time.
Well, this is a very important model, and servcall comes from service quality, and it has these elements of the acronym stands as TEARR: tangible, empathy, assurance, responsive, and reliable, or reliably responsive. So all the service offerings, they must have these elements or these characteristics well in place. So as all services are intangible, the services must give intangible signals and intangible offerings. For example, the doctor's chamber are usually, they often display the doctor's credentials. They provide a clean, functional environment. And these are all tangible signals. Because primarily, when you go to a doctor, you will not know the outcome for quite some time till you are cured. And therefore, these signals become very important because of the high degree of intangibility. So in a classroom today, we have many equipment for professional and efficient running of large classes. So there are video projectors, slide projectors, there are sound systems. All these are tangible elements that enhance a service which is primarily intangible. And then, of course, you need, as a customer, the assurance that you are getting good service. You have the assurance that if there is a service failure, then there will be a recovery, efficient recovery, effective recovery. And you need reliable response. to all your service situations. And you have to have all of these assured. So this tangible, empathy, assurance, reliable response, these are all important aspects. Empathy, which is the most difficult in this construct to achieve, because all the other elements can be ensured through systems and designs and processes and properly sequencing the value deliveries. But empathy will depend a lot on the self-training and motivation and self-direction by the frontline employees. And therefore, on the whole, that has the highest degree of human element, but because of the same reason, it can have the highest level of impact. But again, none of these by itself will make a service excellent. A high degree of empathy will not make a doctor successful if you are not assured of the cure, and if your medical treatment is not reliable and responsive. So all the elements need to be properly balanced. Only thing is, different services at different cycle time will have a higher degree of requirement of these different elements. So at some stage, empathy will be the most important. At some stage, assurance and empathy together will be most important. At some stage, reliable response will be the most important. At some stage, the tangible signals will be most important. So at different stages, and depending on the nature of the service, the requirements may keep on changing, the relative importance may keep on changing. But on the whole, all of them will be important.
Thank you, sir, for explaining service call concept in a very detailed manner. So, Mr. Samrat has posted a query on the Zoom chat. Please explain the 3 stages of virtual value chain using ICT, namely visibility, mirroring capability, new customer relationship. Please provide examples. That's the question, sir. Please explain 3 stages of virtual value chain using ICT, namely visibility, mirroring, capability, new customer relationship. With examples, sir.
This is with respect to which discussion in the service? I'm not able to,
Sir,
because this is almost self-evident. The answer is self-evident. So can you
yes, sir, I'll
clarify,
tell you,
whoever
yes, sir.
posed
Sir,
this
are you able to
question?
hear me, sir? This is Samrat here, sir. You're able to hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm able
Samrat.
to hear you. Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just wanted to understand in context of this one, like for CRM and all those other contexts with respect to the information communication technology that you have also talked about in the later part of the session number 8, the virtual value chain, where you are actually, you had given an example basically of the IT returns, where basically the first stage is basically coming up with the visibility, like you try to map up the different the blueprint, I mean the entire flow through the flow chart of the different information, and then in the second level you do mirroring of that one. For example, in IT returns, there are means income tax actually gives us also SMSs. So you are actually trying to give a mirroring capability or developing a new customer relationship. You are doing one step ahead with your existing data, which is already there. You are actually trying to do value addition, through some kind of some additional offers that, or maybe some, as you've given automatic credit of the IT refund back to the bank accounts. So what I'm trying to understand from the perspective of the CRM, if you could explain, sir. Is it that visibility you're talking about is that using the existing processes, map them in the form of some sort of service blueprint that we're doing in visibility, and mirroring capability, we're trying to find out some kind of value addition that we're doing it through some kind of like this
Yes.
serve
Yes.
model of this
Yes.
TEAR, and subsequently in the new customer relationship is actually going one step ahead, considering the CRM, that I'm actually coming up with the innovative ideas to reach customer with much more better value added kind of like services, or where supplementary services will have a predominant role. Am I right, sir?
Yeah. You have
Perfect.
yourself very nicely explained, answered your question.
Sir,
very good.
But I'll be so glad, sir, if you can clarify one point of the in the CRM itself. The first stage that you have told is actually the value addition. Just 1 minute, sir. I'll just a moment. In the CRM, sir, you have listed the 4 stages, sir. That is there. Yes, sir. The CRM 4 stages. One is strategy development. Next is the value creation process, multi-channel integration process, and performance assessment process, along with the information management process, which acts like a general continuum. I mean, it expands across these four stages. So strategy development process in the CRM, sir, what do you mean by that one? Are you coming up with what is the strategy development process in the CRM, sir, in the customer relationship management? Is it yes, sir, you can explain it like.
Yeah, for example, when you participate in a business oriented service scenario,
sir.
For example, when you participate in an exhibition, and so in the CRM model, what you would like to do is you would like to gather people who will visit your booth, or people who will come to your seminars, or people who will come to your workshops. You will like to create a database for acquiring new customers, and you will actually qualify all these visitors and the data that you will collect from them to determine that who is an immediate prospect, and who is a long-term prospect, and who is an existing customer who needs further attention, and so on. So the whole thing is that what is that you want to know, and what is the purpose, that you will have to determine first in your CRM process. And that is what the strategy is all about. The strategy is what is your overall approach and what is your end objective. That will help you to design the process properly and execute it properly. So that is what I meant by strategy here.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. One more learner has joined the session. Mr. Dalavai Kumaran, do you have any queries? Can you unmute yourself? Yeah.
It's well and clear. I just sort of say sorry, I was late to join. I really thank Professor Jayanta Chatterjee. You have a very good.
Thank you.
Being in a consumer care industry, it was very insightful communications and
Okay.
new strategies I have learned so far. Thank you, sir. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dalavai Kumaran, for your appreciations. Sir, on the YouTube, there are no more queries. And here also almost...
Sir, the type of questions that could be in the offering, sir, if you can just give us some, would it be only objective MCQ kind of questions, or is it that we'll have some essay kind of questions also, sir?
Okay, I think in all these open sessions, people have these queries about the examination.
Yes, sir.
So I think the examination will be, you will have to answer 50 MCQ multiple choice questions,
Okay,
and you will be able to, many of them will need some working out. You will not need any complex calculator, but some simple calculations may be necessary. So I think the calculator that is provided by the system, that will be enough. Some arithmetical operations may be necessary, and in some cases there will be a small caselet. That means some situation will be described, and you will have to choose your answer based on the question that is derived from the situation. So which means that it will be like a short, very short, I would say micro case, and there will be some questions on that case. So very important will be that you must read the question very carefully, because sometimes the question may be structured in such a way that the options that will be in front of you will have to be cleverly matched. So very, very crucial will be that you must read the question. If it is not clear to you, don't try to complete the question as fast as possible. You will have enough time. Read it carefully before you respond. And that is all that I have to say. And I think that should be more or less give you all the answers. 50 multiple choice questions. Read the questions carefully and match the right option after reading the question carefully.
So maths questions means analytical questions, like maths questions.
No, map means there will always be 3 or 4 alternatives in front of you. So you have to carefully understand what the question is asking you and then connect the right answer.
Okay.
That is the mapping. You will not have anything that will be outside that have. There may be something that where you will have to apply your IQ or general knowledge, but everything will be what we have discussed in the lectures.
The lectures will be sufficient, na?
Pardon?
Lectures will be sufficient, sir, to score good marks?
No, I mean, in the lectures at some points, I would have referred to the textbook. So please, in those sections, be careful. If you can look at the text, that will be good.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, in almost entirely, if you look at the slides and the lectures, that should be sufficient. Except for those sections where I would have referred to the textbook.
Clear, sir.
So one more point I would like to add. So I got an information from IIT Madras Central Team that hall tickets will be emailed to the registered students by the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, so that point I wish to say, sir. So any other questions, participants? Mr. Samrat, Mr. Shivam, Mr. Dalavai Kumaran, any other queries?
No, sir.
For me, it's clear.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
good.
So we
Okay.
don't have any other queries on YouTube as well. So can we wind up, sir?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for this live session. It was very informative and helpful. And thanks to all the participants as well for joining and making the session very interactive. We are closing the session now. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, participants.